Welcome in, Geminis, to your monthly tarot reading. So it's already, as you can see by the Christmas stuff, we are in December, the end of 2024, wrapping it up. So we're going to tap in and see what is the last information, guidance you need at this time for this month before we shift into 2025. And obviously, time does not exist except within this reality as we've been programmed. So the time-space continuum just, essentially we're just always in the now moment, right? So the construct of calendars and years and all that was created by humans. So even though we see it as an ending, it's like a continuum. So, but we obviously do have different aspects that shift our realities in any given time, which includes the movement of the planets within the time-space continuum. We're obviously constantly shifting and changing through the now moments. So we'll tap in and see what's going on. So we have a big month. We have the holiday season for those of you that celebrate any sort of holiday. We have the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere happening at the end of December. I think the biggest shift here was Pluto moving into Aquarius the end of, it was November 19th. So this is kind of the first full month in that Aquarian energy. So let's take a look at how that is playing out for you, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Geminis, and see what's going on for you guys. So I got my Christmas tarot cards. I think they're just amazing and beautiful. So I'm using those for the December readings. If you like these and are interested, they are created by, it's called Sirius Tarot Co. and it's on Etsy. So shout out to them for making beautiful tarot cards. And I'm going to use the Energy Oracle to kind of give us the base foundational energies first. If you are interested in a private reading from me, I'm still doing those. I don't know for how long, but you can schedule on my website in the link below. And what else? Also, I have an Etsy shop. I've been kind of telling people about that. And just a reminder, since we're in the holidays, take a look. I make handmade crystal jewelry, gemstone jewelry, and they are all specially made and they are been cleansed. The stones have been cleansed and activated with Reiki energy and also under the full moon. So just a tip, if you are into crystals and have crystals, you should periodically lay them out in the full moonlight. If you're able to, like, lay them outside in the ground under the full moonlight, that is better. But if for some reason you can't, because of where you live or the weather, you can lay them out like in the window or something where they're gonna get hit by the moonlight. And that just, again, helps reactivate them and cleanse them of any, energies, kinds of bring them back to their full, kind of juices them up to their full potential again. And all stones and crystals have metaphysical properties and express their own energetic vibration, which does everything in this reality. But especially stones, they do help us in many different ways. They can help us physically with ailments, illnesses, pain, but also emotionally. And if we have some sort of goal in our life, like especially therapeutic properties, like if we're doing inner child work, if we're trying to manifest or bring in abundance or money. They also help with all sorts of good stuff. So you can definitely personalize it for people if you're gifting something like that to align with maybe things they're going through in their life, or if they're working on something. So just wanted to call that out. I am going to do, let's see if I should have these videos out by, I'm going to start kind of Black Friday through that week after Thanksgiving in the States and do like a 20% off on my Etsy shop. So look out for that. All right, let's get going here. What is going on for Geminis in the month of December? So the Temple Path. So the path so far has been leading you to new information, new wisdom, kind of a spiritual, it's like finally reaching some sort of spiritual destination. I mean, obviously the spiritual path never ends for us, but you're definitely hit a new kind of juncture that's like exploded your mind, your wisdom, your awareness. And because I saw this, I'm going to pull out the door to personal healing and happiness, and then community. And this picture is really beautiful, so I'm going to hone in on that. And then here's the Temple Path. So it's almost like I'm seeing the Temple Path is kind of leading you to this new doorway. It's almost like a portal. And through this door, you're going to find, I feel like the path has been leading you down a path of healing and integration, and really healing. You know, healing isn't about getting from A to Z, right? It's not like a direct line that you start healing and then a healing ends. I mean, healing is, again, just as everything in life, it's kind of a never-ending process, expansion during this lifetime, and even cross lifetimes. Like, we're doing healing and integrating of stuff that happened in alternate lives. I don't like to say past lives. Sometimes I might forget and say it, but really, like, I talked about space. The time-space continuum is happening all at one time. Like, everything's happening right now. It's not like there really was a past that happened and it's done. It's like we're all interconnected in like a web. And so the healing is really, what healing does is, in the process of continuous healing, we are expanding our capacity and capability to take in more good, to take in more light. So we're able to love deeper and love greater and be more aware of our reactivity, be more aware of our blocks or our beliefs that are impeding us or blocking out happiness. And as we integrate more and more, again, there's that expansion of taking in more light. And as you take in more light, you're going to manifest and attract things that are more aligned with that light. And you're also going to be able to handle and be in the midst of potentially negativity or things like that, and not be impacted so deeply or be so reactive. And then, you know, again, that's bringing in, which, look at this, it's bringing in our soul tribe. It's bringing in community and love and people that are more aligned with our new energy frequency. So we're going to level up in regards to the people we're connecting to and manifesting in. So I do feel like some shift is really happening for you. This Aquarian energy for you, Gemini, is really opening up a new door to some personal happiness and community connections. So let's dig a little deeper here. So this is happening in December. So look at this. The first card out is Death. So not to intimidate you all, but I feel like if you're here, you've probably seen some of my other videos or watched tarot, but the death card should not be intimidating or scary. You know, that death card is about not only endings but it's about death and rebirth. It's about being rebirth, transforming into something new. It's about change. But any change that the death card brings on is a change that is for your best and highest good. And it's also on the best and highest good of everybody you're connected with. So this is literally, if I want to say what the trend is so far in December, it really has been this transformation card, the death card. That's, I think, come up in almost all the readings. I can say that the last, like, probably 3 readings I've done, that card has come up. King of Cups, King of Wands. So there's almost a death. It's like an old, it's like shedding the old. It's shedding like your outer, think of a snake. It's like shedding its skin. I feel like you're shedding, especially things you've been carrying for a long time, like I mean, everything literally that isn't serving us, whether it's beliefs, emotions, I mean, they're all based in trauma. And people tend to hear trauma and think, oh God, the trauma talk. But really, like, to me, the basis of being human, we've all gone through trauma. And I don't care what you say, everyone has gone through trauma, and trauma's on a spectrum. And trauma isn't just what has happened to us. Trauma isn't just the extreme situations where, you know, someone was physically, sexually abused. Like, those are extremes. It can really be what we didn't receive, right? What we didn't get from our parents. And that's going to be, we are all different, right? We're all different beings. We're all created differently. We all respond differently. And the basis of the trauma, too, is we all have different needs and desires as humans. And we come into this world, and children have needs and desires. It's the same, adults have needs and desires. And it's really that specific person to say, what are those needs and desires? And as a parent, it's like honing into that specific child to understand their needs and desires and providing those for them. Obviously in balance, right? We're not going to give a child, let them just eat cookies and candy for every meal. I mean, they may think that's a need, but really that's not. But when it comes to like really seeing them, being understood, being emotionally supported, when we don't receive, let's say, emotional availability from our parents, or we had a parent who always was working, who was never around, that is trauma. And the death here is really transforming you. So we have the Divine Feminine from an emotional standpoint, and then the King of Wands, which is from more of, this is the king that's more aligned with our authenticity, our truth, our desires, okay? So we have emotional needs, we have our desires that really are expressed through our authentic self and imprinted based on our individuality. And this is like an amazing balance, these two kings. I'd say these two kings are the ones who are most aligned to the higher consciousness and the higher dimensional frequencies. So again, there's this transformation, there's this emotional transformation. There's also this clearing out so that you can receive more, be in connection to your higher consciousness, your soul, and really be an open vessel to receive more wisdom, to receive more inspired action, creativity. And that's where we hone in on things that we create things, or we align with jobs that we're passionate about and create abundance. So there's a lot there. We have the Five of Swords, the Star, the Ten of Wands. And here comes the King of Wands. So we have 3 kings and we have the 6 of Wands. So we have 3 out of the 4 kings. So the one missing is the King of Pentacles. So I kind of feel like this hasn't really manifested yet in the physical world, because that's the King of Pentacles, the tangible external world, where we're actually experiencing it. But we have the mental state, we have the emotional state, and we have the spiritual. So you are getting an alignment with all 3 of those aspects. And there's this aspect too, I think the healing, the star is also about healing. But there's this, I would say it's a pattern or a habit, but this is tied to how we respond to the external world, especially relationships. And the 5 of Wands is the card of manipulation. It's the card of control. It's the card of the part of us that always feels like we have to, again, control, or we have to, it's based on a fear that we're not going to get that our needs aren't getting met. And this is definitely rooted in childhood, where we couldn't rely on our parents to meet our needs, our personal needs. So sometimes that can form in personality traits or toxic behavior patterns, where we're constantly in a relationship feeling like we have to, and again, a lot of people aren't conscious of this, but it essentially is a game. We're playing games with people to try and get what we want. We're trying to get the outcomes we want. And it's almost like, again, we're being triggered because we don't think we're going to get it. So we're doing different things. We have different behavior traits that end up expressing themselves as controlling. This can be people that always need to have control. This is people that are also afraid to fulfill other people's needs because they feel like that's a form of manipulation. So then essentially what they're doing is manipulating. So it is a very twisted behavior in that card. But I do like that the star came out with it. So it really means that you're becoming more aware of this, whether it's in yourself or you notice that you tend to attract relationships and other people who are like that. But there's the healing there with that. The Ten of Wands is also signifying that this chapter is over, that if you've been dealing with this, there's a lot of masculine energy here too. So as part of this month, astrologically and collectively, I do feel like it's finally addressing the masculine energy here with the 3 kings. And really, this 5 of Swords energy is a masculine energy. The swords are more masculine. And it's working with those masculine energies to help them level up, to help get them out of this lower density as a collective. When we think of the collective, and it's not necessarily just talking about men, it's just talking about the masculine energy on earth. Because we are the creative force of masculine and feminine energies. We all have both. And really, the most aligned human is going to be in balance in both their masculine and feminine, no matter what their gender is. So, but most people have leaned towards one, and it doesn't mean that you're, again, trans or whatever, not to get into the PC stuff, but in reality, it's not saying, oh, she's more masculine or he's more feminine. No, it's really saying that our personality traits, because the masculine, when we think of like hyper independence, that's a very masculine trait. When we think of people who really like constantly need to be busy and doing stuff and thinking they have to do to manifest, that's again a masculine trait, where the feminine energy is about just intuition is a feminine trait. So if you're highly intuitive, but really we can all be intuitive, but ultimately it's almost saying we're ending a cycle of the divine masculine being, it's like an awakening here. It's right. The masculine energy is transforming. And there's a death of the old toxic masculine energy, and it's a rebirth into the new. So Gemini, for some reason, your reading is very high level here. It's coming through very high level. But again, this is a collective reading for all Geminis out there. So, and then we have the celebration here. It's like we've been through the battle. We've done the work. We fought tooth and nail, and we're riding out on the other side of it, feeling successful, feeling we made a lot of good, traction in our goals, in our alignment, and we're getting seen for this, right? I feel like the masculine energy is finally getting a new rap. Like they're being seen. The energy of masculinity is shifting and changing. And it's not that masculines need to be more go all the way towards the feminine, but it's really finding that balance. So this is big, and how this implies to your individual life is the same concept. You are being transformed and letting go of being aware and look at yourself about what are those hyper masculine traits in myself. So that can be, again, a woman that always feels like she has to control everything, and everyone has to do what she says. And if that's a problem, all of a sudden these manipulative behaviors start to come out to get everyone back in line. And again, that can be a very unconscious pattern. A female that's hypercritical or things like that. So those are just some examples. So let's keep going. Yeah, Three of Pentacles, Six of Swords. There's another similar card to the Six of Wands. It's about we're moving into a new age of ease and grace, and like not needing to fight as much. We're not feeling the resistance from the universe and from the external world. It's like all of a sudden we don't have to row so hard, and we don't have to try and navigate the storm that's going around us. Like all of a sudden the waters just ease, the storm goes away, and we're kind of a period of peace, and things just feel easier for us. Yeah, there's a whole ending and new beginnings here. You got the World, you got the Death card, and the Ten of Wands, which are really the completion of a cycle and rebirthing into a new reality, basically. Queen of Swords, Six of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. So there is a reconciliation happening for you. And I feel like this is more internally. There's a reconciliation of, like I said, the emotional body, our connection to spirit, our connection to source, and again, also our connection to our mind, and how we could always lean too much to the mind, into logic, and not enough into the emotion. So there is this reconciliation here. And what happens here is this is a new opportunity from an emotional level. You're able to now receive way more love and emotional connection to source in a new way that you've never experienced. And it's almost like when you're truly open emotionally in such a deep way, it's like unexplainable. That's where we fully are able to take in life to its highest level. And this is the place where you understand what unconditional love is. You're able to express emotional love and receive love in a whole new capacity. And that's where potentially you could be manifesting in a relationship that, again, is your kind of divine counterpart or a real soulmate level. So that's 9 of Wands. And the same thing, this has been a trend too, the 9 and the 10 of Wands together. So that signifies that evolution from, if you feel like you've hit a point where you're just like, oh my God, I don't think I'm ever going to get, you know, potentially the relationship that I've always dreamed of, or I'm never going to reach this point of like real fulfillment in my life. And you kind of almost gave up on even like continuously trying to manifest that. But this signifies that it's like you are finally reaching the end of this chapter or this karmic cycle. And if you feel, especially if you felt like you've been stuck in a loop in areas of your life, and it's just like, no matter what I do, I can never get out of the loop. This is saying it's this ending. It's ending. 10 of Swords and the Sun. So it's almost like you have to go through an internal death. And it's like you need to just surrender to it. If you always feel like you're resisting this, there's always this underlying pain that you just continuously are resisting on going there or wanting to feel. And it could be tied to a traumatic event or something that really was hurtful, like a really difficult ending of a relationship that you never got over, but a loss of someone you loved, you know, something here. But it almost did kind of kill a part of you, and you've just never really fully been able to reach a level of emotional maturity or find the love you wanted, because this is the aspect of you that's really been on the forefront of what you've been attracting in your life. But this is, I like this. I mean, this could again be intimidating with the Death card and the 10 of Wands, but I do feel like this is an internal death and a new rebirth coming here. So this is like the death, and the Sun is like the rebirth into the new. And the rebirth is going to be really amazing. I also feel like, you know, it could be indicating here with these 3 cards is your connections have been really cold or difficult. You haven't been able to get on the same page. It just constantly feels like a challenge, right? It's like we're never flowing. We're never working together here. But I like this community card because I feel like, again, that's your connections are changing and morphing and shifting here. Because there's this reconciliation of the past with the 6 of Cups, and it's really transforming you. But you might have to go through a short dark night of the soul. And again, this is December, so I don't see this like taking a long time. But I do feel like within the next 6 months, you're going to be in a completely different place in your life, I feel. So I do feel like this transformation starts in December, and we're looking out and speaking through the next 6 months. Here. And I just thought about this, but you could be, you know, if this is tied to some connections or relationships. So I'm just looking at the signs that are showing up. So we have Scorpio, Aquarius. So the 2 big ones are Scorpio, Aquarius. So you could have a connection or relationship that's a Scorpio or Aquarius here. We do have more Aquarius energy. So water signs could be a big factor for you. I mean, this could really indicate you with the air, with the swords. But this could be this Queen of Swords could be someone specific in your life that you've just kind of been like, you just can't you know, work it out. Like you can't repair things. It's like you keep trying and trying and trying, and it just, it's at a place where it's just, I feel like emotionally it's kind of empty. But there is a rebirth, there's a renewal here of emotions. So if that means that you have to go through your death process internally and come out on the other side, I don't know what that means for this relationship or connection, but I'm going to get one more for this Queen of Swords. Page of Swords. Yeah, definitely an issue with communication here. And I would kind of give some caution because in December as well, we have a Mercury retrograde. So this could be a bad time to try and communicate, especially with the Page of Swords coming out. I do feel like the communication is a bit cold, and it's almost like the communication, there's a lot of misunderstanding, which is that Mercury retrograde again. So I feel like you keep trying to work it out together, and it's never going to work. Like you have to focus on yourself, because there's a block within yourself that's never going to, it's like a brick wall that's never going to allow this to come together and to be cohesive and for you guys to both understand each other. So you have to go through this internal death and rebirth on your own to be able to be emotionally available and to manifest in a relationship that truly can be, again, this ultimate relationship that's truly fulfilling, not only for you, but you're able to truly fulfill that person's needs and desires. And I am really kind of getting, this is more for you Geminis, because we have all of this about death and rebirth here, and I feel like that's really for you. Like you're going through a complete transformative process right now, and I feel like in the next couple months as you go through this, you're going to come out on the other side like a new person almost. I'm just going to get what's one more card for, like, this seems to be like the future state. Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, this is where you fully align and feel good in who you are. I feel like you, before this rebirth, you didn't really feel great in who you were. You didn't really find yourself yet, and you weren't really in alignment with your mind, body, spirit. Like you weren't in cohesive connection with all these different aspects of yourself. And when you are in cohesiveness, that's where the Nine of Pentacles is really about you manifesting or bringing in your own abundance. Like this person is independently, has all their shit together. Money, home, you know, emotions, all of that. And this is the type of person most people want to bring into their life, right? You want someone who has, you know, mental intelligence, but emotional intelligence, who has, you know, wealth in regards to they've built themselves up and are stable in that area. A lot there. There's a lot there. This has probably gone long, but I'm going to end it there. So Geminis, you guys have an amazing holiday season. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe as usual. Stay connected with me, and the next Gemini video will be in the new year. So obviously take a look at the weekly videos. That will give you more of a specific time frame about what's happening throughout the month. But I will see you in the next reading, Gemini.